Al Arabiya News M99 and MA24 TV. We are delighted to welcome you to this important discussion with the Pakistani ambassador to Morocco in charge of the Embassy of Pakistan. My name is Lalu Sukaina and I am a Moroccan journalist interviewing with Soufiane Nero, head of the Democratic Organization for Press and Media Professions in Morocco, the ambassador of Pakistan in Rabat, His Excellency Hamid Asghar Khan. We're so glad to welcome Your Excellency in this new episode of our program.
Welcome to the Embassy of Pakistan. It's a great pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. the Ambassador. We will start our discussion by talking about Morocco-Pakistan relations that have traditionally been deep and cordial since their establishment in the 1950s when Pakistan got its independence from the UK. What can you tell us about this strong and cordial relationship between the two nations?
Well, thank you for this question. Pakistan and Morocco have a historic relationship. We also have a number of commonalities between the two countries. As you know, Pakistan was part of India before independence in 1947, and the Indian subcontinent was a colony of Britain. Morocco itself has had a colonial experience with France and with Spain. So both of the people and both of the governments have this history of colonial rule, which has its own impact on various aspects of the country. When Pakistan became independent, as a policy, we decided that we are going to support all of the freedom movements around the world, especially the movement in Morocco for independence. One of the things that we were able to contribute and where we were able to work and help with our Moroccan brothers and sisters is that we issued Pakistani diplomatic passports to a number of Moroccan liberation figures. I will mention one, Mr. Ahmed Belafrej. Our embassy, as you know, here in Rabat is on Avenue Belafrej. So when Mr. Belafrej was in the United States, he was given a Pakistani diplomatic passport, and he would make his interventions at the United Nations from the seat of Pakistan because he was carrying a Pakistani diplomatic passport. So this is a very powerful connection that we have between the two countries in history. After your independence, Pakistan delegation also came to participate in, the OIC, the formation of the OIC. The OIC for Muslim countries is a very important organization, and of course it is the late Majesty Hassan II who had this vision, and he hosted the first conference after which the OIC came into being. So Pakistan and Morocco have a very warm cooperation at the platform of not only the OIC, but also at many other international organizations as well.
Your Excellency, the Moroccan-Pakistani relations are very good.
Yes.
And the two countries have bilateral cooperation agreements, especially in the field of combating terrorism.
Yes.
What is your assessment of this partnership?
You see, the relationship between the two countries is multifaceted. And of course, myself, my mission, my embassy, we are trying to both deepen the relationship and also to diversify the relationship. Today, we are living truly in a global world. There are challenges which transcend national boundaries. There is no country which can work or operate as an island itself. The example of the pandemic is before us. This is a problem which came suddenly, and it affected the whole of mankind. Similarly, there are issues like water shortages. There are issues of food security. There are issues of, medical pandemics. These are issues in which international collaboration is very important. You have spoken of, the military cooperation. Of course, this is very important. Pakistan is situated in a very challenging region. We have, unfortunately, in previous years, we have been affected by terrorism. We have been affected by violent extremism. And as a state policy, using all of our resources, including our police, including our intelligence, including our military, we have combated this menace. And I'm very happy to share with you that we have been able to bring peace back to our land. In Africa also, you know that the problem of violent extremism is very much there. Crime has also become a transnational enterprise. And there are many criminal, violent extremist groups which have connections with each other around the world. So, because Pakistan has gone through this active battle against terrorism, there is a lot of training and there is a lot of shared experience that we can give to our friends and our allies around the world. And you're absolutely correct that we have a very good mechanism of cross-trainings of our officers in our military and of sharing of experiences.
You recently visited the Casablanca Settat Chamber of Commerce. Your Excellency, what can you tell us about the future conventions that you are planning to hold soon with Mr. Hassan Barkani, the head of the previously mentioned Chamber of Commerce?
Yes, my visit to the Casablanca Chamber was very important. And of course, the president of your chamber is a very distinguished gentleman. He has a tenure for 5 years, so that provides a lot of time for continuity of policies. Casablanca is the counterpart of our city Karachi in Pakistan, which is our main port city and which is our main commercial city. See, today in the world, the number one concern for governments everywhere is the creation of jobs, and it is the economy. The pandemic affected economies all over the world. Over here in Morocco, as you know, that your tourism industry has been affected by the lockdown and by the stoppage of flights, etc., which was made necessary because of the spread of the pandemic. In trade, for investment, and for commercial ties, this is something which is a very, very important aspect of the bilateral relationship. I can inform you that Pakistan and Morocco already have a trade of almost $500 million a year. There is a lot of scope for improvement. As we discussed the other day, we are talking about various niche items such as spices. We can talk about rice, but also we can have robust cooperation in education. I mention education because Pakistan, with its very large population, it has developed a robust expertise in private sector education. Just to give you two statistics, there are educational groups in Pakistan which have over 300 different campuses around the country. They have gone into other countries and they have established schools and colleges and universities. One of the largest universities in my hometown of Lahore, it has 45,000 students. So since Morocco, the government of Morocco is moving to teach English to its new generation, we feel that this can be an avenue where we can cooperate. Pakistani teachers can come here, they have the expertise. We work with the British system, which is the IGCSE system, the O-level, A-level system. And this can be very beneficial for the youth of Morocco because to better integrate themselves with the global economy, in addition to French and Arabic, which they already speak, two important languages, I think there is a realization and there is a trend to start English, learning English as well.
Your Excellency, during the visit to the Casablanca Settat Chamber of Commerce, you gave a considerable interest to the educational sector. What can you say about your future plans in the important sector?
Well, education is perhaps one of the most critical areas for nation building and development in any country, whether it is Morocco, whether it is Pakistan. The real question today for all societies is the development of their human resource. Because you see, society consists of individuals. We have to really calibrate our systems and our education systems in a manner that our human resources are innovative, that our human resources are productive, and our human resources are competitive. These are the three key things. We have to develop a new generation which can innovate, which can produce, and which can compete. I will just give you the example of this company Tesla. You must study it. It is a company which came out with the concept of electric cars, and now it is one of the most valuable companies in the world. They have created trillions, billions of dirhams of value through innovation. And how does the innovation come? It comes through skills, it comes through technology, it comes through education. So education, madam, it is one of the most important things. And I believe in diversity of education. This is why if you look at many innovators, they have gone and studied in different countries. People go, all over the world to study, from Australia to China to America, etc., whether it is Paris, whether it is England. So education cooperation also creates ambassadors. Because if you have studied in a country as a teenager or in your 20s, naturally that experience becomes a permanent part of your life. Pakistan also has a policy of offering scholarships to diplomats, for instance, from Africa. So under our Engage Africa policy, we invite diplomats of two levels, from the entry level and the mid-career level, to come to Pakistan and to receive training at our diplomatic academy, because this creates a bond between these diplomats who are later on going to get promoted and they assume positions of responsibility, etc. So between Pakistan and Morocco, what we are trying to do is, we are trying to have professors from here go to Pakistan for one semester. Mm-hmm. We are trying to get Pakistani professors to come here for one semester, and we're trying to do the same thing for students. Exchange. Yeah, so we want to have exchange programs between the professors as well as the students, because this will create a people-to-people connection between our two brotherly countries. If you allow, I would just like to conclude by saying that the warmth, the respect and the love that I have experienced from all of you in Morocco, it is exactly the same thing in Pakistan, that Morocco is viewed as a brotherly country. It is viewed as a country with which we have excellent ties. It is just, I think, the factor that the languages which are spoken are different, and we both are situated in very, very exciting regions where the affairs of the regions keep us so occupied. Mm-hmm. And there is so much to do, and we remain so engaged in our respective regions that over the last maybe 10, 15 years, we have not been able to engage with each other as much as we could have. But inshallah, I am sure that with my counterparts here in Morocco, we will be able to build more and more bridges and bring the two countries, the two governments, and the two people and the two economies together.
Pakistan and Morocco have a long-standing friendship based on mutual goodwill, mutual respect, and shared perceptions on matters of common concern. We noticed that the Moroccan businessmen are interested in Pakistani products in some sectors and fields. So what can Your Excellency do about this point to strengthen relationships between Morocco and Pakistan?
Well, my first hope is, and my prayer is, that the flights are going to resume and they are going to open as soon as possible. We hope that, there will be the opportunity for delegations to visit from Morocco to Pakistan, and also for delegations from Pakistan to visit Morocco. One of the most important mechanisms for promoting trade and investment and commerce between countries are trade fairs. Now, I can share with you that 2 years ago it was decided that Pakistan would be the pays d'honneur, the country of honor, at the Salon de Bois International de Meknes. But because of the pandemic, we have not been able to have the Salon de Bois at Meknes. Also, yes, so you see now that delegation can come from Pakistan, and this can generate some activity between the two economies. Similarly, there are delegations for marble, because Morocco is developing fast. There is a lot of consumption of marble. Pakistani marble producers and exporters are very keen to explore the Moroccan market. We have had meetings with the construction industry leaders here in Morocco, and so that is the other one. Of course, Pakistan also has great expertise in textiles and in sports goods and also in surgical goods. Now, there are already 3 small Pakistani companies which are providing surgical goods, for doctors, for hospitals over here. They're already here working in Morocco. But we have a very strong chamber of commerce in a city called Sialkot. I can tell you that the World Cup football and the European Cup footballs, they are made in Pakistan. So these footballs, the manufacturers, they want to come over here, and they want to have a dedicated sports goods exhibition. Similarly, we would like for the chambers of commerce like Casablanca, like Tangier, like other cities, we would like to invite them to Pakistan so that they can not only bring Moroccan exports to Pakistan, but they can also come and see the variety of produce and the variety of products that we have in Pakistan that can be of interest to Morocco. Here I would like to say that we have a very clear vision of developing both South-South cooperation and also to engage with Africa. The government of Pakistan has an Engage Africa policy, because Africa is a very vibrant continent of 54 countries, and there are almost 4 billion people here. It is an emerging market. It has a youth bulge. Lots of people are under the age of 22, 24. In the modern era, everybody wants more consumer goods, more services, and Morocco is a gateway to Africa. You see, because of your geostrategic location, you are, I would say, you are a Mediterranean country, you are an African country, you are an Arab country, and also because of the stability in Morocco, because of the peace in Morocco, and because of the excellent infrastructure that you have in Morocco. Morocco provides a north-south passageway to the countries in West Africa, which again is a very big market, the ECOWAS countries. So when we look at cooperation with Morocco, we look at it in the regional sense. We feel that because of the warmth of our ties with Morocco, once these delegations can start coming and going, we should be able to build upon it, and our Moroccan friends should be able to help us to further engage with the great continent of Africa also.
Your Excellence, recently you have carried out a series of activities in a number of cities, in several Moroccan cities. Do you think, Your Excellence, that this is a new start and a new vision, a new spirit into Moroccan-Pakistani relations?
Well, I cannot really say it is a new start. Of course, we have a very old relationship, but I can certainly tell you that there is a lot of enthusiasm at the moment. We feel that there are great developments which are taking place both in Pakistan and in Morocco. For instance, in Pakistan, the government has a new policy of focusing on geo-economics. With our large population, with our large youth bulge, it is very important for us to be able to develop our economy, to create jobs, and to provide hope for the future for our youth. I think there is a similar vision over here. So I think there are a number of areas in which we can have very strong collaboration between Pakistan and Morocco. I will give you the example, apart from education, of fertilizers, of course. Now, Pakistan has a huge demand for fertilizer because we are an agricultural country. 60% of 220 million people live in the rural area. So there is a great demand for fertilizer. Already, I don't know whether you are aware of this, that there is a very successful joint venture at Al-Jadida between the OCP and Pakistani Fauji group, and there is a factory which is producing phosphoric acid since the last 11 years. It is a success story, and we are now talking to OCP, and we hope that we can have a further factory in Pakistan and another factory over here in Morocco also. Also, Pakistan has a lot of expertise in infrastructure. Our companies have, under the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor project, we have built a number of roads, we have built a number of bridges, we have built a number of colleges, hospitals, universities. Under the National Development Plan of Morocco, in which there is this concept to have equitable development around the kingdom, so that even the far-flung areas, they are also provided with services. We are very hopeful that Pakistani infrastructure companies can also come here and contribute towards the further improvement of the infrastructure and to contribute towards the development of Morocco.
Your Excellency, as we all know, Pakistan was one of the first countries to recognize the sovereignty of Morocco over its entire Sahara and over all of its territories. Pakistan recognized Morocco's territorial integrity.
Well, our position from the beginning has been very, very clear. Pakistan has never had any sort of recognition for the RAST. Pakistan has never had any connection with the Polisario. You know, there are countries in our region which opened even an embassy of the RAST. But Pakistan in its history has always remained very clear that we are a friendly country, a brotherly country, and the territorial integrity of Morocco is something which is very important for us. Of course, this situation is at the United Nations. And over there, Pakistan works with Morocco, cooperates with Morocco, and we hope that now that there is a personal envoy who has been appointed also, we are very hopeful that the UN system will be able to resolve this issue, which really should not be there, so that Morocco, which is already doing so well in this region, you know, there in your region, in northern Western Africa, there are countries which are not so stable. There is a problem of terrorism, there is a problem of political continuity. So Morocco truly is on the African continent, I would say, that it is a role model of stability, of safety, of peace, and of development, which many other countries could study and should study in order to better develop the country to benefit their own people.
Shall we be expecting development opportunities created by Pakistan in the Moroccan Sahara?
We are looking at the development opportunities over there. As you know that at Laayoune there is a MINURSO mission. The general commanding the MINURSO mission is a Pakistani. We have a number of Pakistani troops who are over there already, who are contributing to the peace and security in the region. I will probably be visiting my troops also, because these young men and women who are far away from home, at Laayoune. I feel that as the ambassador, I should go and I should thank them for their service. We are going to do that. Also, I have had meetings with the presidents of the regions of Dakhla and of Laayoune, and they have discussed with me the various development opportunities over there. As you know, that at Dakhla, for instance, tourism is a very big subject. Windsurfing is a very big subject. My Prime Minister in Pakistan also has a very clear vision of developing tourism. So in tourism, I feel that we can have very good cooperation between the two countries. Also in healthcare, also in education, also in roads, also in civic infrastructure, because the developments which are taking place in the south are very exciting, and Pakistani businessmen and Pakistani companies have expressed a tremendous interest in coming to take a delegation there to have a look at the business opportunities. So we are very hopeful that once the flights open, you will see some positive activity in the south, and this will bring the two countries much closer together.
I hope so.
Your Excellency, we know that the current General Commander of MINURSO in the Moroccan Sahara is a Pakistani, and will complete his duty during the month of March 2022. Can you, Your Excellency, tell us more about the l'apport of Pakistan in the UN forces around the world, especially to solve the problem of the Moroccan Sahara?
You see, Pakistan itself has its long-standing unresolved issue at the United Nations, which is the Kashmir issue. You know that there is a dispute between India and Pakistan on the Kashmir. This issue is also at the United Nations, and Pakistan believes in the UN system. Morocco itself is engaged with the United Nations for resolution of this problem. We feel that a peaceful resolution of issues is always the best way forward through negotiations. Regarding our deployments at the UN, Pakistan is, if I'm not wrong, it is the second largest contributor to UN missions around the world. As a policy, our military and our police and our security services, they send people abroad to these missions. For instance, there is a mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo. We have also done missions in Liberia. So I think in perhaps over 24 countries, thousands of Pakistani troops over the years have served, and they have served with distinction. This is actually the second commander of MINURSO who is from Pakistan.
Okay.
Right now we have Major General Ziaur Rahman, who is the commander of MINURSO, and previously we had Major General Tayyab. And both of these generals, they distinguished themselves through their professionalism, and we are very proud of the role that Pakistani forces play, not only in Pakistan but also around the world for the causes of peace and stability.
Your Excellency, a last word for our audience.
Well, I would just like to, I've spent 2.5 years in this beautiful country. I feel that Morocco truly is a tremendous example of how a Muslim country, an African country, can develop itself. I'm very, very impressed with the infrastructure. I'm very impressed with the continuity of policies. I'm very impressed with the clarity, the development strategy which is taking place, and which places the citizen, which places the welfare of the individual at the center of the national development model. So I think that I have no doubt, in fact, that Morocco has a very bright future ahead of itself. And I'm very excited, looking forward to the opening of flights, because we have at least half a dozen delegations waiting to visit Morocco. And we have invited a number of senior figures from Morocco to undertake visits to Pakistan. It is an exciting time in the world, and because we are both Muslim developing countries with much to learn from each other, I feel immensely privileged to be here and to play a role of a bridge between these two old friends and these two wonderful countries. Thank you.
We also have the pleasure to have you here as the ambassador of Pakistan in Morocco. After all you have said, we came to know as a conclusion that future is really optimistic future.
Yes.
In what concerns the relationships between Morocco and Pakistan.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure.
We also are very much looking forward to discuss with you more and further.
We will continue this relationship. We absolutely shall. Thank you.
It's time to wrap up our episode for today, but we will be looking forward to interview you again soon, Mr. the Ambassador. Thank you, Mr. Hamid Asghar Khan, the Ambassador of Pakistan to Morocco. Your Excellency, on behalf of all of us, I once again thank you for your time, and we sincerely wish a lot of success to Morocco-Pakistan relations.
Thank you.